This is the only train line in this city, and right now it goes nowhere. So today I'm going to take this one useless track, get a little bit crazy, and turn it into the most efficient rail network. But I only have one chance to get this right, because we only have 1 million in the bank. And we're so broke, we don't even have enough money for roads. And to get started, we're going to delete most of this track. That's because we're going to have to reorientate it so that it's more straight. And actually, I guess I should probably buy the tiles first. And this is where things get dangerous, because we just got our budget to be profitable. For the main train depot, this should be enough. It's going to be $400,000 every single month, and $375,000 up front. So only 1/3 of our money. Let's hope we don't go bankrupt. Now we're going to need to take the train track, and I never unlocked trains. Wow. We have 18 development points. After unlocking trains, we have 17. That gives us access to the double train tracks, and all I want to do is send these out to be more straight. That gives us 0.5%, and that gives us 0%. Now this is going to be the main line for the future port, or even just our waterfront operations. This is train though, so we need our slopes to be super gentle, and I think 1.8% is perfectly acceptable. But we're going to need a second track, and this second track is going to branch off right around here. I'm going to set this to be elevated, and I'm going to run this across the farmland, and now I have a feeling I did not leave enough room for the connection. And definitely not, that's way too tight. So from further back here, we're going to make a complete loop into this track, and that's definitely a bit better, but what is that? That's a bit rough. I'm going to worry about all this stuff once I get the second connection in. We're going to make a similar branching movement. And now the slope from here to here is only 1.6, so perfectly acceptable. Now this entire track's job is to be the passenger main line. I want to be able to serve the future development down here, and I also want to be able to serve the future development down here. And then we'll have one extra movement that'll come in to serve the city. I'm going to keep all the slopes under 2%, and I'll try and get this to be as straight as possible. Alright, and there is the foundational tracks ready to go. Now I did widen this curve because it was way too tight before. And then I did add a tunnel right here because it's going to help avoid making these tight curves. For the most part, all of it is elevated and all of our grades are under 2%. Now here is where things are going to get a little bit more challenging. When I'm thinking about the densest part of this city, I feel like that's going to exist right here. So I definitely want to make sure that we're going to be able to serve it with trains. So first, we're going to have to go over this road. And what is that? Let's just get rid of that and pretend we've never seen anything. To make this easier, I'm going to flatten both these sides. And I'm going to send this across first, because now I know that we have enough clearance. Now I just want to select all of the tracks and rotate it slightly so that it faces the future city, which means we are going to need a pretty big sweeping curve here. And there is no way that is happening. So I'm going to adjust my expectations. As long as I can serve within this vicinity, I'm going to be happy and I'll consider it a win. There we go, that is looking much, much better. Now we're not going to be developing this today, so for the meantime, I'm going to continue this at 10 meters, and we'll leave it right there, ready to be developed in the future. And then I do want to serve this area over here as well. Again, let's cross the highway first. And now we're going to need 2 sweeping connections to the right and to the left. I'm just going to continue sending this straight at 10 meters, and I'll stop right there for now. So the second train station will be somewhere around here, and there is one more movement that I definitely want to cover, and that's to provide access to this area. I'm going to place the train station somewhere around this park, primarily because this is a very, very hilly area. I also don't want to clog up our cargo main line. Even with that said though, we're still going to have to branch a connection off of this cargo main line. I'm going to try and get this to be really, really smooth. And now I think there's really only one option, because curving around these contour lines only means that our trains risk derailing, and they would have to slow down their speed significantly, which isn't efficient at all. So my solution is to send a tunnel underneath this section. And the thing about tunnels is that they drive me insane. So to make my life easier, I'm going to level out 2 sections, and then I'm going to slope up to both of them. And I want this tunnel to have a 0% grade, so I'm going to make sure both sides are very, very equal. And now with a little bit of luck, I should be able to just send this right through. And it's so close, but so far. That would just be kind of funny looking. I think what I really need to do is just send this even lower. And again, it's so close, but so far. So temporarily, and I know this is going to be crazy, I'm going to pull all of this terrain over. But don't worry, I am going to fix it, I promise. Now let's try all of this one more time. And you know what? That's not all that bad. We just got to remake this branching connection from our main line. And there we go. That is looking really, really good. I like that a lot. Now we are going to build out a massive train depot along with some industrial and a cargo terminal, because right now we have no way to import cargo aside from trucks. And if you noticed earlier, there was a small traffic problem here. And that makes perfect sense. We only have 2 connections into the city. And if you really think about it, this is just essentially one giant cul-de-sac. Anyways, before we get all that in, there's one more important track that we need to run. So right on top of this hill, this is where the new train station that's going to serve this area is going to be. As we're coming out of the tunnel, I want to make sure we're nice and flat and straight. And I hate Past Loon. Past Loon is an idiot. The orientation of this track is going to make things difficult. The most optimal would have been something more like this, but I really don't want to go back and fix it right now. So I'm going to try and make the most gentle turn that I can possibly make, and that will create some challenges for the future train station, but I'll let future Loon deal with that, because right now it's not my problem. So we're going to need another train interchange right here. Again, we're going to need super big sweeping curves, which means we're going to have to start before the highway. And that just looks awful. The radius on that curve is much, much better, and I can always fix any jank later on. Now please tell me the connection into this track is going to be reasonable. And of course it's not. Yeah, this is what I mean, I hate Past Loon. And so for peak efficiency, I'm going to have to rework the orientation of this tunnel. But don't worry, for your sake, I won't make you watch all of that all over again. And there we go, there is the reorientation done. Absolute nightmare. That's all I have to say. I hate tunnels. But you know what I don't hate? Placing down a brand new train station. And right, in order to do that, we need a rail yard or a rail depot. And that is exactly why I bought all of these tiles here, because I want a massive train depot facility here. And this will serve as the county or the city's train hub. And just in case you were wondering, this is what all of the completed train tracks look like now. I'm so glad that I'm preparing them beforehand for once. Now, first things first, before we get this facility in, I want to run some parallel tracks to our main line. And the heights on this are really going to make this difficult. I'm going to have to do a whole bunch of things that are going to make me really uncomfortable, because this is for train, and we need it to be as flat as possible. Okay, now we're going to have to start by branching one main track off of our main line. And I don't want these switches to happen too close to each other, so I'm going to start right here. I'm going to send this out 100 units. And now it's pretty much parallel. So this is going to be the main track for all of the facilities. We still need a main building though. And of course, it does some wonky stuff with the terrain. And no, there's retaining walls on it, so I have to delete it. The only problem is, we only have 116,000, and it's only going to give us 37,000. Well, that hurts. Being broke sucks. We are going to have to branch our connections into this track. So we'll have this main double track serve as our main line. This one will branch in, and so will this one. And now we're going to have to do the same thing on this side. And this facility does come with extra tracks, which I really want, but we're so broke it's not even funny. We're still profitable though, and that's a big win. And I was going to let things simulate for an hour, that way we'd have more money, but then I realized we don't need to do that. We can just take a loan. So right now we have a positive balance of $494,000. So let's take $1 million loan, which is only going to cost us $100K every month. That's not that bad. Look, we're still making $16K per hour. Now the reason why I want that is because we need more upgrades. This only comes with 9 trains, and that's pathetic. So first, here's the extra maintenance hall, the extra set of tracks, and again I'm going to make sure to get these connected into this line. And now we have a total of 14 vehicles, which is still kind of pathetic. So let's have one more rail depot. I'm going to place that right in front of this main track. I'm not entirely sure how this is going to connect into the road yet, but I'll worry about that later. This building comes with a few upgrades. We have the maintenance hall, which we're definitely adding on, and then we have the extra tracks, which I definitely want. Before I add those in, I'm going to get these 2 tracks connected into our main line, and actually we're going to need one more branch. We essentially need another main line for this building. So I'll run that all the way across. And now these will branch into it. Now let's add on a few more of these tracks, but it's going to be easier if we get a straight segment in first. And I'll parallel this track so I can get a few of these in here. So now each one of these tracks that has a train on it is functional and does provide us with a vehicle. This facility right here, it gives us 16 vehicles, and this one only gives us 14. Although it doesn't seem like this train track is connected to anything. And I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to anyways. I'll branch it into our main line. Now we have to provide some roads and some utilities for all of these buildings, because I really want these to function. And there is one important road that we are going to need anyways, so I do want to add one of the cargo terminals here. And it's going to cost us $200,000. That's pretty expensive, but worst case, we'll take out another loan, because I think this is going to be a really important building to have here. So basically what we're going to need is a cargo bypass road. That way trucks can drive to this facility, drop off their goods, or even pick up goods from this facility. So let's quickly get this in. I am going to make a custom highway, so we're going to have to unlock it, and that's going to cost 2 development points, but we still have 15 left. And basically what I'm going to do is take this 2-lane highway, reduce the width of the shoulders, drop the speed down to 80 kilometers per hour, and because I like the industrial look, I'm going to give it the harbor shoulders instead. I'm going to make sure that it supports utilities, zoning, doesn't require to be upgraded, and I'm going to call it a 2-lane industrial road. And before we make any connections, let's place the cargo transfer station right here, just like that. And we do have the storage warehouse with extra tracks, which I think I really want to add. And now before I bankrupt us, let's get this connected in. And now I want to provide a way for trains that are coming this way to enter into the facility. Because if I'm going to have the port down here, I need to make sure that this movement is as smooth as possible. And that is looking really good. We are going to get this connected in to one of the roads over here. And because we don't own this tile and we can't even afford it, I don't think, we're unfortunately going to have to use this road as a freight road, which is something that really doesn't excite me. There has to be a better option. And I think there is. So instead of this road curving in, this road will start to go up the hill. We'll fix this wonky connection. And do we own this tile? Oh, we own this tile. No way. We can connect this in. That feels so good. Now this road is going to curve around these trees, but I can't see what I'm doing, so I'm going to clear them. And now this road is going to become the main road, so it will get priority. And because I want this to be efficient, we need to connect Whitestone into the industrial area. Otherwise, trucks are going to have to maneuver through this road and then down. So I'm going to connect it into this intersection. And I'll upgrade this to be a proper 2-lane. So far, so good. I want to swap from this 2-lane into a highway, but I am going to edit it so that it supports zoning, utilities. I'll drop the speed limit down to 80 kilometers, and I'll change the sides to be gravel. I'm just going to snake my way down until we reach these tracks, because now we need to do something. This track will be reserved for a passenger line, so I don't want to cross it, because that wouldn't be very efficient. So I'm going to turn this into a bridge. And I want that bridge to connect into this road. All of the slopes are nice and gentle so that the trucks won't have a problem crossing. This is when I want to transition into the 2-lane industrial road. The more gentle the curve is, the easier the truck will be able to take it. And why don't you have utilities? Because this road will carry utilities all the way down. And so we shouldn't have any problems whatsoever. No, I had autosave off. I'm such an idiot. Alright, after redoing all of this, I am officially back. I tried to replicate pretty much everything, and I'd say it's very close. Now we still have to provide road access to these 2 facilities. And already I can see something that I don't like. Oh, I should just leave it alone. I shouldn't do this. I'm going to make things worse. And I am definitely making things worse. But yet, I keep continuing for reasons that I don't understand. So now we have these 2 facilities hooked up to a road. The tricky one is this one. And we don't own these tiles either, and we're broke. So what I'm going to do is branch a road off from this one. And then I'll keep both of these connections stubbed. Now I'm going to swap to an alleyway. And I'm going to try and cross these tracks. As long as it's just maintenance vehicles or worker vehicles, we should be fine. So now all of these have access to roads, but they don't have access to water or utilities. So let's slap down a small transformer station. And for maximum efficiency, I'm just going to run these underground. Now that should be power, so show me that power is solved. Perfect, only water and sewage. And for some reason, running the utility pipes right beside the road seems to have fixed the problem. And I'm just going to continue to ignore what's going on down there. But now we finally have the cargo transfer station, the second railway depot with our 18 vehicles, and we have the rail yard. But we can't stop here. And the reason we can't stop is because we are losing $10,000 every single hour. And that's just honestly rough. But it does make sense. We took $1 million loan, and our transportation fees went from 0 to $640,000, pretty much all of our budget. So we need to get this rectified, because I don't really want to import goods. I primarily want to sell them. And to get that started, we're going to need one route to the outside connection and back. And for now, we only will use one route. And look, we actually have a train coming in already, and they have absolutely nothing. Amazing. What are they going to pick up? There's not much they could pick up. Yeah, that's what I thought. And that's exactly why we need to start manufacturing goods. Now, right behind this building, we have a bunch of space. And this is going to be perfect for an industrial complex. So I'm going to quickly build a grid. Now, the only issue is, we only have one connection into this industrial park. And that's just not going to fly. I'm not going to add one by the bridge though, because that's going to create a conflict point. And we're so broke, we don't even have enough money for roads. So I'm going to slow the simulation down and take an even bigger loan. I just need a little bit of seed money, I swear. And I don't want to overthink this connection anymore. I'm just going to do something like that. We don't have any signature industrial either. So I'm going to quickly plop in a bunch of level 1 industrial. And so far, this hasn't even made a dent. Currently, we're making 470k from industrial, and I really hope these buildings start leveling up a bit quicker, because we're going to need all the money we can get. Really quickly though, I am going to go through and give all of these buildings some parking, because I'm hoping that'll increase the viability of these businesses, especially given that all of our citizens are down here, and we only have 7,000 population. And you know what, the more I think of it, I should probably start tracking this. And I'm going to create a district around this area so I can track how many jobs we're adding. Right now it's 907, and we still have around 300 to 400 open positions. I'm going to quickly get all the parking done. And this is the industrial district done. So how much jobs? Only 1,044. Definitely not as many as I would have thought. And we're still losing $10,000 per hour. So we're still not in a good place yet. And we also have so many problems down here. And I really want to get a train station in down here, which means we need to get profitable really quickly. And thankfully, we have some natural resources within our tiles. There's oil over here, just barely outside of the tiles that we own, a tiny bit of land fertility, but a whole bunch of ore. So it looks like we're going to make a specialized mining industry right here. I'm going to use the 2-lane highway that's rural, because this really shouldn't look too fancy. And I'm just going to snake my way around up until this point. I'm going to prep a future bridge. And the goal of this would be to connect back into our main road. And I really wish we had this tile because it would make everything a million times easier. I'm going to have to find somewhere else to connect this road into. And ideally, we're minimizing our junctions, so let's have one right there. And with our ore mining, I'm going to place that right here. Now, even though we got the update for the textures, I still really do not like how these buildings look. I think they look absolutely awful. So I want to know, will these textures actually work on the surface? And no, it doesn't seem like it will. That really hurts. So because of that, I'm not going to do anything too crazy for this industry. I think it's an eyesore and they're very, very hard to look at. And now this building is going to need a road. And it's also going to need a little bit of parking for the people who work here. And of course, we don't want the public seeing what we're doing, so we're going to have a nice thick row of trees. And to be honest, it helps cover up some of the laziness. And right, we don't have any money. Well, things are not looking too good for us. I will have to come back later on to make this look not too bad. We are producing 32 tons of metal ore. What is our current deficit? We're still short 33 tons, but our total production capacity is 53. We're just taking a big loss because we don't have enough employees. And is it the same story for this district too? There's only about 200 open positions in total. And is it Valentine's Day? It is. I see little hearts popping up over here. Well, happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Now we're negative 6,000, and I need to pull us out of the hole quickly. We did just unlock a new signature building, and that's the blast furnace. If we can get this specialized industry going, we might be able to solve this. So let's get this placed in right there, and we need to produce 50,000 metal ore goods so we can get the upgrade. But basically this company takes metal ore and then turns it into metal. And I can't even give this a road. Why would I place it here? All right, one more loan. One more loan. Just give me enough money to place a road. And we'll make sure this has direct access into the metal ore extracting. Now we're gonna need way more employees. So we're gonna need way more population. And of course, we want the population to be closer to the industrial area. So let's add in a new apartment building right across from all of our medium density. And that only adds 216 households, so roughly 400 residents. That's not even going to be close. So let's turn this section into some new development. It won't be the nicest place, but it will be a place. And that's all that matters. I just want to wrap this road around the top. Eventually, this will be the road that leads up into our passenger train station. We are going to need a few more connections though. And I'll convert this to be a 2-lane road and make a few more over here. And thankfully we have medium density demand because we're going to need it. Because I want to make this area a mix of medium density apartments. I think the only thing that matters is that I don't want these to feel too new or too nice, especially given the area that they're in. So I'm going to quickly fill out these 5 lots, and hopefully that gives us enough employees, enough population, and ideally it gets us out of the red. And yes, thank you. We have hit milestone 8, and that gives us $200,000 and a bunch of buildings that we really don't need. All I care about is that juicy $200,000. Right now we're only losing $5,800 per hour, and it looks like these companies are doing a lot better. Yeah, this entire district is only short by about 80 employees. I'm going to expand this district to include the new ore area, And we also unlocked the second building for this supply chain, and that's the casting fabricator. It's going to give us a 3% boost to export profits citywide, which is exactly what we need right now. So let's get that placed in. Now this building is going to take the metals that we make, along with a bit of plastic, and wait, what? Turn it into vehicles. I guess? That makes sense. So I'm going to let these buildings do their thing, because we're going to need a new district around this area. And right now it's currently called Hawthorne Gardens. If you have a better name, feel free to comment it below. Same thing with the industrial district. We're not going to touch any of our services yet, because we're still broke, and we need to come back and make lots of money. We currently have 700 residents in this new district. Their average wealth is poor, and honestly, that's not surprising. I feel like the city in general is just doing a little bit rough. I'm going to quickly finish all of the plopping, and hopefully by then, we're actually profitable. That puts this new district at 1,820 residents. The industrial district only has 30 open positions and a total of 1,400. We are producing 105 tons of metal ore, 19 tons of metal, and 12.8 tons of vehicles. And oh no, you have garbage piling up? 74% efficiency? That is the exact opposite of what we want. We want 1,000% efficiency. And yeah, there's garbage piling up all over the city. We have 9,111 population, and we are profitable again. $6,000 per hour. We will extend the landfill a little bit. And that only gives us 150 more tons of storage. We really need to hurry up and start making more money, because I'm sick of this landfill, and I'm also sick of this sewage dumping directly into our beautiful water. This does not feel like a utopia to me. Although we could add the chemical purification. Purifies about 25% of all water, only costs $12,000. I'm doing it, because there's no way we're affording a water treatment plant today. What is our unemployment? 10%. Yes, thank you. Thank you, game. The reason why I want unemployment is because that means we can expand the industrial. And if we can expand the industrial, we can make way more money. Right now we're making 800K from industrial. Not too bad. But I know we can do way better. So I'm going to quickly expand the industrial grid into this area here. Alright, here is our new grid, along with a new bridge connection, because I really did want to provide at least one more way into this area. And I say that knowing that this entire area is a cul-de-sac still, but that is besides the point. We still have a bit more metal ore, and we could take it from this area, but that's a little bit too close to our residential. This won't be the most optimal use of space, but let's have two more right here. Plus it's going to help us produce more ore, which we can then turn into metals, which we can then turn into vehicles, I guess. I'm going to paint down some dirt here. And of course, we really don't want the public seeing what we're doing here. And this time we actually have money to afford the trees. Now these buildings only employ 2 people each, but obviously that's not going to help us solve unemployment. We still have 5.7%. And our blast furnace is only at 90% efficiency because it's losing 12% due to not enough employees. And that's just sad. There's a chance it's just because we don't have enough parking. Alright, and our efficiency has only went down. I was hoping that the parking was going to help with pathfinding, but that doesn't seem to be the case. I think probably the best bet would be to add transit, but we still only have $5,000 per hour. We're just barely profitable. So I'm going to fill in the rest of this area with some industrial. And if we're lucky, we'll get a few buildings that produce plastic. That way this building has the exact inputs that it needs right beside it. Okay, that puts the total jobs in our new district to 3,300. And I probably should have seen this coming, but now we have a lack of labor. Although unemployment is 0.4%, I don't think that really counts for anything though, because we're only making $3,700 per hour. So we've actually lost money since adding all of this industrial. But don't worry, because we have one more important job before we're done. It should solve lack of labor, but it should also de-cul-de-sac everything. Because right now the trip to this industrial district is just insane. So I was looking at the tiles, and this one will allow us to make a connection into our rural highway. So we're going to purchase it. It's going to take most of our money, and I am going to make the connection with the rural highway. I want that to come down this slope really nicely. And now at last, we finally have a second connection and we have someone driving on it too. And their destination is 310 Maple Street, which is these medium density, low rent apartments. And wow, the garbage is really, really bad. Okay, so we are going to expand a small rural town here, but before that, I feel like we probably have to solve garbage. It just comes down to not having enough storage. And that officially gives us basically triple the storage that we had before. So I really hope that that makes a really big impact, because I'm about to make everything much worse. And to start off with, we are going to need a very basic grid. And I'm going to use an alleyway in order to make that grid. This development isn't meant to be very fancy. Alright, and there's a few things that are influencing this grid. Really, I'm just trying to keep it as standard as possible. It's a very typical boring grid, and one that feels very rural-like, which is the exact point. And given that this is country-like, we're not going to have a bunch of medium density or high density here. So we're going to need as much space as we can get. I did build outside of the tiles that we own, but don't worry, because we're not going to zone them. The last consideration would be that I can imagine the people who live here, they would definitely protest this train track. For the sake of my life being easy, I'm going to say, too bad. I'm going to create a district around this entire area, and we are going to give them some very, very basic services. We only have 81,000. That's so bad. I don't even know what to say. There's medical, and I'm going to assign it to both this district and the industrial. And it just looks so crazy over there. And that is apparently the only service that we can afford. Now I'm just going to go plop some very basic residential, anything that looks country-like. Alright, and Lilac Springs only has 667 residents, and the little trailer park that I made is burning down. About half the icons are gone, but we still have 1,200 open jobs. You can see that we're slowly filling some of them up, but we're still only making $2,000 per hour. Industrial is fluctuating from $686,000 to around $800,000 in taxes. And would you look at that, we're only making $438 per hour. The majority of our costs are going to transportation, which is now $640K, and electricity, which now costs us $216,000 to import. This will be a reliance that we'll need to fix soon. Our loan interest is killing us. We're paying $140,000 every month just towards the loan. And yeah, now there's crime. I mean, that's kind of on brand for the trailer park. But I have good news. The railway depot is no longer swarmed with garbage, which is probably the best news that I've heard all day, because now our efficiency is 98%. And the only reason why it's so low is because we need a little bit of mail. And thankfully these only cost $100. We can place a few of them around here. In the majority of these resources, we have a surplus. Because I don't want to commit to any more development, I'm going to make the train hub feel a bit more dusty, a bit more dirty. I'll let things simulate, and we'll see where we end up. Hopefully positive. Please positive. And honestly, it's kind of funny. I was too scared to place trees because we're so broke. The dream of utopia feels like it's slowly slipping further and further away. And yes, we're profitable. Amazing. So we're making $2,000 per hour. We have 10,000 citizens. And there's only one area with traffic, which is right here. And in this district, we have no garbage. So another win, because that means our efficiency is going to be closer to 100%. And overall, I'm really happy with how the train network turned out. Of course, we still need money so that we can actually do proper expansion, and we also need a whole bunch of residents because we still have 800 jobs to fill. And taking a look at the air pollution, you can see that I just barely missed the residential. This is why I didn't build any residential closer to the industrial. But considering that we're profitable and things don't look too bad at the moment, that's where we're going to end it off. Big shout out to Jake Hill, Gary Key, Mississippi Mikey, Aiden Fernelski, Henry Vopel, Dylan Barnett, Arlen J, Sinan Ozdemir, Soyen x2, the Poop Sheriff, and to every single one of you amazing people who support the channel. If you'd like to loon harder, you can join us over on Patreon, YouTube, or even urbanloon.com. And other than that, I'll see you in the next one.